Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we are talking about the spell Temple of the Gods.
A holy place of magic and chill. And it's also like 6 different little spells mashed together into a giant 7th level bucket. It's neat. I don't think it's that good, but it's neat.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all these mashing together kind of spells, but we'll get into it. What does it do?
Okay, it takes an hour to cast out the gate, and this is a 7th level cleric spell. Um, Notably cleric exclusive. I guess whenever it has to do with gods, that kind of makes sense. So yeah, you take an hour to cast it, 120-foot range. It requires a holy symbol worth at least 5 gold, which I expect you have on you when you're a 17th level or 7th level character with 13th level or 7th level spell slots as a 13th level character. Excuse me.
Why even bother with that?
It has a duration of 24 hours, so this lasts a while. You cause a temple to shimmer into existence on ground you can see within the 120-foot range. The temple must fit within the occupied cube of space up to 120 feet on each side. So, like, it's not really within 120 feet of you. It's you find a 120-foot wide space and put a temple there. Is how this actually works. It's dedicated to whatever god, pantheon, or philosophy is represented by the 5 gold holy symbol. So now we know. You make all the decisions about the temple's appearance, its interior, floors, walls, roof, all the little furnishings you want. However you want it to look, it'll look. Only you and any creature you designate when you cast the spell can open or close the door to actually go into it. So you already have like this barricade against things that aren't you and your buddies. The temple's interior is an open space with an idol or altar at one end. You decide whether the temple is illuminated or bright light, dim light, however you want to do it. There could be burning incenses in the air. The temperature is mild. They really went all out on these descriptors, and I don't know entirely why yet. The temple opposes types of creatures you choose when you cast the spell. Choose one or more of the following: celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead. If a creature of the chosen type attempts to enter the temple, it makes a charisma saving throw on a failed save. It just can't come in for 24 hours. Even if the creature can enter the temple, the magic there hinders it. Whenever it makes an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw in the temple, it subtracts a d4 from the roll, which is way better than disadvantage. And because it's disadvantage stacks. In addition, the sensors created by the divination spells can't appear inside the temple, but they can appear outside the temple and hear into it. So that's like, a consideration. Finally, whenever any creature in the temple regains hit points, it regains that many gains additional hit points equal to your wisdom modifier. So like if you mass healing word or prayer of healing, add 3 or 4, whatever your wisdom mod is to those numbers. The temple is made from opaque and magical force extending onto the ethereal plane, blocking ethereal travel into the temple's interior. Nothing can physically pass through the temple's exterior. It can't be dispelled by dispel magic, or anti-magic field has no effect on it, which is dumb. And a disintegrate spell destroys the temple instantly, which is fun. Casting spells in the same spot every day for a year makes it permanent. This is so many words for what is nothing. This is Magnificent Mansion minus, because it's a higher level spell slot that does more or less the same thing. Like hypothetically, you put this big thing down, you're like, no one comes in because they can't open the door, and you list all the different things you don't want to have entry, and they kick in the door anyway and still come and beat your ass. Like I don't know. I don't love this. It takes forever to cast. It's like not really a long rest in a can. You need a huge area to make it work, and what it does is it just kind of whatever. Just you don't
Well,
need this, right?
I do like that last line of text. That
Sure.
you can make a
How to build
permanent
a church.
temple. Yeah.
Yep.
That in that regard, it's like was it Mighty Fortress?
Yes. It also helps
So,
that it's free, right? Because like a lot of the other like Mighty Fortress effects have gold costs, and this doesn't. This just needs you
well,
to have a holy symbol that doesn't even consume.
time is money, Sam.
Sure, it does take you a full ass year to do
And
this.
an hour a day.
Yeah. To be fair, if you were to tell me, hey, are you willing to commit an hour a day for the next year to build your own house? I'd be like, yeah, sure, that seems like a great plan. Why not?
Oh
It's
yeah.
free.
Ah,
What do you use this for?
I
Like practically.
I use it to build temples that are permanent, but
Yeah, you use it to add temples to your cities and civilization. You use it to after you've built the walls with wall of stone, after you've used fabricate to construct your like bridges and whatnot, then you're like, okay, now we find temple of the gods and start spreading up temples everywhere. And you just have this sprawling society building out from a handful of party characters. Maybe that's a whole game someone plays. Maybe there's like a dedicated table that all they do is like, hey, we're starting at 13th level. We're not going to kill anything. We're just going to go around and build civilization. Every session's going to be like 3 to 5 years, and we'll just see what happens.
you only need to commit an hour a day. You can spend the rest of your day adventuring. You just got to make sure you get back in
Yeah,
time.
you can't leave a distance that doesn't let you come back. Granted, we're the stage where teleporting starts to be online, so I guess that's something practical. But
Um,
besides world building, outside of the realm of doing
Yeah.
this,
Outside of the realm, nobody is ever going to do,
correct?
including me. This is just a fantasy I'm living, a fantasy of a fantasy, if you will.
Nested fantasy.
But no, I mean, when I'm looking at the benefits here, they're not amazing. Well, they're not anything that Magnificent Mansion doesn't really give you. I mean, all right, your healing spells work a little bit better.
Who cares? You're
Yeah,
taking a rest in it anyway.
right.
If you're spending an hour to cast this, you are long resting in it. That's just happening, right? And whenever you're long resting in it, what happens to your hit points? They're back to full. Look at that. Look at
Yeah.
that. The healing text no longer matters.
I mean, there's so much text here. You can
But none
keep,
of it.
well, you can't even keep enemies out. Like, they got to make a charisma saving throw, and they can still come in and they get some points deducted from their attack rolls, but
a little D4 off. I mean, again, that scales with disadvantage, so like this will
yeah,
this will work with frightened effects and stuff. But
I guess I mean, if you got an hour to prepare, a marauding army is coming towards you. Yeah, you can filter some of them out and have a better shot at the ones that make it in. But I mean, how often is that happening?
And okay, that only affects a specific like subset of creatures, right? If it's a
That's
marauding
true.
army of humanoids, they can just kick in the door and kill you. Additionally, if you have an hour to prep this, the Hallow spell is a 24-hour cast time, and if marauding armies coming into your location, and you don't have 24 hours, but you do have an hour, your DM is just like, yeah, you're not allowed to use Hallow here. That's basically what they're just saying. In any case, Hallow prevents Celestials, Elementals, Fae, Fiends, and Undead from entering the area full stop. Regardless, no saves allowed. They just can't come in. That's a 5th level spell. This is a 7th level spell. So already there's a spell, and then Hallow does something else. So Hallow has more text beyond that, where you can prevent dead bodies from reanimating. You can silence the area. People can understand each other. You can create extra dimensional interference. I mean, this also has the text on it where Temple of the Gods says no ethereal travel can come in here, and extra sensors can't come in here. But again, they can sit outside of it. So I don't find that to be a particularly useful line of text. It's just yes, you cannot be directly divined upon, but you can be close. They can get close enough to you that they can get in regardless. So it doesn't really help.
That's the sort of thing we say
stuff,
with
right?
Pretty much any divination spell we cover.
Yeah.
All right, I can't track you, but I can track your friend that I know you're always with.
Yeah, he goes out to take a leak. Got him. Yeah. And then you're all of a sudden being spied upon like you didn't want to. I think there's so many words here. And I don't find any of them to be really compelling. I don't think you need to make a building to rest in over a long rest. Maybe this is something you just do for flavor. Maybe this is something you're I want to make sure whenever we're long resting in comfort, we're long resting with my deity. And then you're okay, cool. I find a little clearing and I make the temple every time we go. I don't think there's anything else here worth it beyond that. I don't think having a structure with a barricaded door, functionally a locked door, because that's what it is, right? Your friends can open the door, but other things can't, so they have to kick it in. That's the difference. I don't think that's worth having a full 7th level spell slot dedicated to with an hour-long cast time, whenever you could just be yeah, I pull out my bedroll and we camp out.
Well, it's got to be, you got to want this more than for a long rest. You need to want all this text. And I'm not sure when that applies. I mean, especially with the hour cast time,
and requiring a 120-foot space. How small can this be for it to be valuable?
Field, I guess. I mean,
how often do you have an hour
space?
How often are you adventuring specifically in a large enough area to make a meaningfully large-sized structure and have an hour cast time and know you're going to be fighting at it? I guess. Does that ever happen?
No, not often. Certainly not. I don't know, man. I've got nothing. Maybe well, I mean, it is a big temple. Maybe there's, there's enemies all about and around. You want
a giant red flag floating up in the air saying, "Here we are."
Exactly. you want to let them know where you are so they come to you, and you also want a modicum of defense.
Sure. So you make like a
And
6-story chapel and everything
right,
around sees it and comes in and you have to deal with those problems now.
right, but you're fighting them on your turf, and I guess if you're using healing magic during the fight, then that's something for you. I don't know.
Listen, you like Wall of Stone a lot. How does this compare to Wall of Stone? Like, if you're looking to get a fortified area, you could just snap your fingers and have a giant wall that gives you the same form of fortification, that gives you the same form of, hey, look where we are. Like there are other ways to alert people, just like lighting a fire will do that. And that's this spell is Wall of Stone is 2 levels lower than Temple of the Gods. And that'll give you the same kind of fortifications you're looking for. You don't care about the healing magic, I guarantee you that, which means like an action versus an hour cast time, which is going to be more useful.
No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm trying to find justification for this spell.
Yeah.
And
I'm saying
like I said,
you have not found it yet.
No. But I think you just need to want all these effects. And in that perfect storm, maybe this is just what you need. Maybe this is great. If you got or you got ghosts coming after you, they can't travel through the ethereal plane into your building.
That if you're against an ethereal villain, this is one of very few ways that exists to fight against ethereal villains. Sure. If that ethereal villain is an undead construct, or sorry, undead fiend fae, the things that tend to actually use the ethereal plane, then you probably are better off with Hallow. But if you don't have 24 hours and are against the ethereal threat, and know you have an hour and enough space to make it meaningful, fine. You have a 24-hour sanctuary from that one very specific threat. That never happens. I promise you, viewers, you will never be in a situation where you'll be like, yes, Temple of the Gods is here to save me. Which I think again means I think that this just lands in I want a flavorful addition to my character sheet for a 7th level spell slot for some reason, but whenever we take long rests, we long rest in our temples. That's assuming you didn't use your 7th level spell slot for the day. Because you often have to remember, you only get one of these. And if you're using your 7th level spell slot on this, and not on a real 7th level spell, like this isn't a ritual or anything, despite it having an hour-long cast time, you have to spend a resource to do this, which means you're, assuming you're going to make it, like, you have to say, I'm not doing a way better option than this. That doesn't seem, that seems like whatever pros there were to it when we're comparing it to spells that are like 2, 3, 4 levels lower than it are just gone now. Like, there's way better things you can do with your spell slot than this.
All right. Your entire campaign, you got armies after armies coming at you, and you are
the meat grinder.
Yeah, your whole campaign is to fortify this one position. Then yes, as long as you do 365 of these, then you get a free temple at the end. Yay!
Buy 364, get one forever, is what that sounds like to me.
Yes.
Just like, you could cast Firestorm instead of this. You could cast Conjure Celestial instead of this. You could cast, like, Symbol is even a neat spell that you can cast instead of this. Symbol's not, like, amazing, but I think it's pretty nifty. It definitely has a bigger impact than this does. Like, regenerates us, if you need, like, a better healing thing, we've talked about Regenerate, and Bob, you like Regenerate a lot more than I do, but I think it's still fine. You, like, stick Regenerate on somebody that they want the bonus healing. Like, all of the effects this is combined together are, like, bad lower-level versions of them exist. Like, this is a bad version of lower-level ones that exist. And then there are 7th level spells that do good stuff, like do cool things that you can take instead. Do that instead. Don't take this spell. Temple of the Gods is not worth it.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm tired of trying to... Yeah, I don't even believe in what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. You're just trying to extend
my
the video,
job
right?
is to be devil's advocate, and I'm not living up to it.
You fought valiantly this time. I was just like, but you're what? No, that's a weird idea. I guess like if we're talking in this kind of niche circumstances, you're right. Good, I guess, but no.
Yeah, well, man, there sure is a lot of text, but not a lot to say.
Yeah, this feels like a spell that could be 2 lines of text. You make a temple that you can hang out in, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, I mean, that last thing you said about it being 7th level, and yeah, that is a precious resource right there. Otherwise, I mean, if you had like, a bunch more 7th level spells, then great. Then this is something, yeah. You, it's the end of the day. You didn't cast any. This is free. You just got your 5 gold holy symbol, and yeah, it's a comfortable place to rest. But I don't know. That's a lot to ask for comfort.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, well, you got a rating for this one?
It's because it's so high level, I have to give this a 1. I don't think there's ever a reason you can reasonably think to cast this or take this. Like, again, if you are in a campaign where you just want to say, like, I took this for flavor reasons, fine, but the spell doesn't do anything then. The spell is just functionally saying we rest in style whenever we're not in danger. And we rest in style where we're not in danger is the equivalent of, like, sitting on a giant pile of 10,000 gold pieces and getting lavish restaurants and, like, hotels. And that's not a real feature, right? That's just, like, a lifestyle that doesn't matter. So yeah, this is a 1. This is no practical applications at almost every single table.
Yeah, I don't even want to argue with you. This one's a 1.
It's real bad.
But I do want our viewers to argue with us. So let us know in the comments why we're wrong and how you've used this spell tremendously effectively. But that was Temple of the Gods. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.